Members, we are back in session. Members, please open up your laptops and power them up. Please open up your laptops on your desk and power them up. Reading of the previous day's journal.
Assembly Chamber, Sacramento, Thursday, May 12, 2016. The Assembly met at 9 a.m. The Honorable Kevin Mullen, Speaker Pro Tempore, the Assembly presiding, Chief Clerk E. Dawson Wilson at the desk. Reading Clerk Kathleen
Mr. Calderon moves and Ms. Waldron seconds that the reading of the previous day's journal be dispensed with. Presentations of petitions, there are none. Introduction and reference of bills will be deferred. Reports of committees will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Messages from the governor, there are none. Messages from the Senate, there are none. Motions and resolutions, the absences for the day. For personal business, Assembly members Arambula and Eggman. And for illness, Assembly member Patterson. Moving to procedural motions, Mr. Calderon, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Assembly Rule 118 and allow Assemblymember Garcia to have guests and photographers on the floor today.
Without objection, the request is granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There is a Rules Committee resolution at the desk to suspend Joint Rule 62B to allow the Health Committee to meet on Wednesday, May 25, 2016, for the purpose of hearing SB 1408. Alan, I ask that we take up that resolution right now.
Clerk will read the resolution.
Resolved that Joint Rule 61B be suspended to permit the Committee on Health to meet, consider, and report Senate Bill 1408 for further action.
We will now move to a vote on the resolution. Clerk will open the roll. All members vote who wish to vote on the resolution. This requires 54 votes. All members vote who wish to vote. All members vote who wish to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Ayes 69, no 0. The resolution is adopted. Mr. Calderon, you were again recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request unanimous consent to suspend Joint Rule 62A, the filed notice requirements to allow the Health Committee to meet and hear SB 1408 on Wednesday, May 25th, 2016 at 11 a.m.
Without objection, such shall be the order. Second reading, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2622 and Assembly Bill 1771.
All bills will be deemed read and amendments deemed adopted. Members, moving to the file, we are going to take up amendments at the top of the file. We're going to move to file item number 12. That's AB 2349. For the purpose of amendment, clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Bill 2349 with amendments by Assemblymember David Chu.
Mr. Chu, you may open on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill would protect parents of children conceived through surrogacy in California, including straight and LGBT couples, from having their rights violated outside the state by clarifying that our California courts can take jurisdiction in cases arising from surrogacy arrangements. These floor amendments are technical and clarifying and add co-authors to our bill, which has been bipartisan and unanimous thus far. Ask for your support on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Seeing no discussion or debate on the amendments, and without objection, we may take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Bill is out to print and back on file. Moving to file item 32. That's AB 2082. For the purpose of amendment, clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Bill 2082 with amendments by Assemblymember Campos.
Ms. Campos on the amendments.
I rise to take up amendments to AB 2082. These amendments would narrow down the provision of the bill so that alcohol license can be suspended if a business is found to be involved in a case of human trafficking, drug trafficking, illegal gambling, prostitution, or a violent crime. I think we can all agree that this is the best use of ABC, and local authorities have to prove that there is a reason to suspend their license. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Campos. Seeing no discussion or debate on the amendments, and without objection, we may take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. The bill is out to print and back on file. Members, let's move to file item 43. That's AB 20. I'm sorry. My correction, members. Members, we're going to move to file item 58. That's AB 1924 for the purpose of amendment. Clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Bill 1924 with amendments by Assemblymember Lowe.
Mr. Lowe, you may open on the amendments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. AB 1924 will ensure California law enforcement officers retain the ability to utilize pen, register, and/or trap and trace devices during emergency situations. The amendment adds a mandatory notification, clarifies the process for getting a pen register, and adds urgency to the bill. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Seeing no discussion or debate on these amendments, and without objection, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Bills out to print and back on file. Members, moving to file item 81, AB 1979 for the purpose of amendment. Clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Bill 1979 with amendments by Assemblymember Bigelow.
Mr. Bigelow on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 1979 is back for your approval. I encourage an aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Bigelow. Seeing no discussion or debate on these amendments, and without objection, we may take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. The bill is out to print and back on file. File item 84, AB 2263 for the purpose of amendment. Clerk will read with amendments.
Assembly Bill 2263 with amendments by Assemblymember Baker.
Ms. Baker on the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I ask for your support for these amendments to AB 2263. These amendments make clarifying and conforming changes to the Safe at Home program statute to be consistent with provisions from the government code that apply to protections for law enforcement and elected officials, and to add co-authors. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Seeing no discussion or debate on these amendments, and without objection, we may take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. The bill is out to print and back on file. Members, we have some guests with us in the assembly today. I want to acknowledge a former member of the assembly. Allison Hubert is here. Ms. Hubert is on the floor today. Let's welcome her. Members, additional guests with us in the assembly today. Ms. Garcia, you are recognized from Mr. Rambula's desk.
Dear members, it's an honor to rise to recognize and thank Tim Riordan for his outstanding service in the legislature. Tim started in the legislature in 1989, and so began his lifelong love affair with state politics. At about the same time, I began the 5th grade and started my lifelong love affair with math. For 27 years, Tim has worked in the legislature as a consultant in the Speaker's Office of Majority Services. Under the leadership of the legendary Assembly Speaker Willie L. Brown Jr., he managed and volunteered in many Assembly Democratic campaigns, including Assembly members Norman Waters, Mike Gotch, and Didi Albert. When I was still in high school doing math problems for fun, Tim became Chief of Staff to Assembly member Mike Machado for 3 terms. He then went on to serve as Chief of Staff to Assembly member Allison Huber while I was trying to convince my students that math was beautiful. During Tim's legislative career, he had the unique opportunity to serve under the leadership of 13 Assembly speakers and 1 Senate President pro tem. For 24 years, Tim's business had been the Capitol, and my business had been math and learning. And then 4 years ago, our paths crossed. At first, it might seem that we are an odd couple of sorts. But the reality is that Tim has been the yin to my yang during my time in the legislature. My freshman self could not have asked for a better Chief of Staff. Okay. Tim's wealth of experience and network was perfect for someone like me. Because up until that point, all I had been doing was solving math problems or teaching someone how to solve math problems. Tim was very generous with his network. He always went out of his way to help me make bridges with people in and out of the building. But I think what's most impressive about Tim's time in the legislature is all the people he mentored in the building. He has been generous with his time and wisdom. Chances are that if you don't have your own Tim Riordan story, you know someone who does. Just as my staffers, Ashley or Mandy or Ernesto, who Tim has mentored since the beginning of their careers and watched them mature as people and professionals here in the building. When I got here, Tim also mentored me in such a way that my office has always reflected my passions. For the first time, I was in a setting where I was never doing any math problems and was certainly out of my comfort zone. But his patience and guidance helped me grow into the position. Tim has been the reliable safety net that has allowed me and the rest of my team to embark on ambitious ventures, knowing that whatever may come our way, we'd figure it out. I still have some growing to do. There's lots I haven't figured out, but I'm confident Tim is leaving me and my team in a good spot and has instilled a skill set in each of us to persevere, and maybe even a love of state politics. The legislature has been the family business for Tim's family. Tim learned the business of the Capitol working many years alongside his brother and mentor, Terry Riordan, the longtime Chief of Staff to Assembly member and State Senator Jim Costa. And now his daughter, Stacey Riordan, is working in the office of Speaker Anthony Riordan. I feel very lucky to have been a part of his Capitol family. Tim has definitely done his time and paid his dues. And while my whole team wishes him the best and hopes that his retirement is full of things that give him joy, we also can't help but be a little selfish and sad. We won't get to enjoy his guidance, wisdom, and really corny jokes. Congratulations, Tim. You really have been a real class act and are the gold standard of public service here in the legislature. Members, please help me in thanking Tim with a round of applause for all his service.
Mr. Cooley, you were also recognized on this item.
Colleagues, as Tim receives our well wishes, I just want to note what a remarkable brain drain happens as Tim retires, leaves this body. He worked for the original Valley Democrat, Norm Waters, lived up in Amador County, Plymouth. Well-regarded gentleman, Norm Waters, but sort of a conservative Valley district. You heard mention of Mike Gotch, who was another member on this floor that he worked for. Mike Gotch was elected in an election when he basically stole a red district to the Democratic column out of San Diego. And Tim had the challenge of helping a brand new member who no one expected to show up in Sacramento get grounded and get established here. Allison Huber, who joins us today, benefited from Tim's leadership, again, with a challenging district, a conservative district, and even his brother Terry, who passed away a few years ago from cancer, tumor, worked for Jim Costa for so many years. So there's just a lot of understanding of the institution, of what it means to provide quality customer service. In my own run for the Assembly, he was a big hand walking door to door for an extended period. So it's great to honor him this day.
Mr. McCarty, you'd also like to say a few words.
Thank you. I wanted to also note to Mr. Reardon, who not only has been a longtime staffer here in the Capitol, but is a volunteer in our community. 10 years ago, I launched a baseball program in the southern part of Sacramento, and he came up one day and said, "How could I help?" I said, "You can help by being a coach." And so he came out there for several years in a row, became a junior Giants baseball coach, recruited others, and just want to make sure that note that not only did he work in this institution, but he was an asset to the community of Sacramento as well.
Okay, members, if I could have your attention. On behalf of Assembly Member Scott Wilk, it's my pleasure to welcome the Granada Hills Charter High School decathlon team. They are seated in the gallery. They won their 5th national title this year. The competition consists of 7 multiple-choice tests, plus a speech, interview, and essay. Let's congratulate them on adding to their 4 previous titles. Okay, members, we are back on the file. On concurrence, file item number 3, AB 1927, by Mr. Lackey. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1927 by Assemblymember Lackey, enacting the criminal procedure.
Mr. Lackey.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Members, I rise to ask for your concurrence vote on this bill, which was passed unanimously just last month. AB 1927 aims to reduce the risk to both officers and violators during a routine traffic stop. We've made technical, substantive changes clarifying that electronic citations are transmitted to the courts and are signed by violators, and I urge your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who wish to vote. All members vote who wish to vote. All members vote who wish to vote. The clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Aye 63, no 0. Senate amendments are concurred in. File items 4 through 11 pass and retain. We've dispensed with file item 12. File item 13 is also pass and retain. That moves us to file item 14. That's AB 2438 by Ms. Waldron. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2438 by Assemblymember Waldron and others, and act relating to environmental quality.
Ms. Waldron, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 2438 is joint authored by Assemblymember Nazarian, and it streamlines the installation of a new recycled water pipeline in an urban area within an already existing public street, highway, or right-of-way for the distribution of recycled water. Water recycling can provide much-needed water resources in our state. In fact, in 2010, the State Water Resources Control Board adopted a recycled water policy for California with a goal of creating an additional 2.5 million acre-feet of recycled water by 2030. Currently in California, more than 3.5 million acre-feet of potentially recyclable water is discharged annually to the ocean, causing ocean beach closures, contamination, and more reliance on Bay Delta ecosystem for potable supply. This bill helps the environment. AB 2438 would help increase the accessibility of recycled water for use by farms, industry, or landscape irrigators, including Caltrans, and will reduce energy costs and environmental impacts. AB 2438 is supported by the California Farm Bureau Federation, the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, San Gabriel Valley Water Association, Santa Margarita Water District, Rincon Water District, California Chamber of Commerce, the County of Riverside, and many, many more. I urge and I vote.
Thank you, Ms. Walter. Mr. Nazarian, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of AB 2438, which incentivizes the use of recycled water, and applaud my colleagues' work on this great bill. Recycled water is a drought-resistant solution to addressing our state's water issues and is crucial to my district as well and the rest of Los Angeles. Expanding access to recycled water allows cities to gain independence and relieve their dependency on Northern California water. AB 2438 is a sensible measure. This bill is not intended to offer a permanent exemption, but to present immediate relief to communities by giving ready-to-go recycled water projects an earlier start date. Recycled water is one of the key solutions to addressing our current and future water shortages, and we should be doing what we can to allow communities to access recycled water. With that, thank you for bringing forward this measure, and I hope to be able to count on my colleagues' support on this great bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 64, noes 2. Measure passes. File items 15 through 17 pass and retain. File item 18, AB 2580. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2580 by Assemblymember Olson and Act relating to juveniles.
Ms. Olson, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. The goal of AB 2580 is very simple: to ensure that foster youth are provided as much stability and support in their lives as possible. The bill provides foster youth an opportunity to move back into a home with people who already love him or her, to an environment with which he or she is already familiar. The fewer homes that a foster child must live in and interface with, the better. AB 2580 has no opposition and received unanimous support in the Human Services Committee. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. Seeing no discussion or debate on this item, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 67, noes 0. Measure passes. File items 19 and 20 pass and retain. File item 21. That's AB 2792 by Mr. Bonta. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2792 by Assemblymember Bonta and others, and act relating to local government.
Mr. Bonta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I'm proud to present today on California Immigrant Day, AB 2792, the Truth Act. As we all know, California's immigrants are an incredibly valuable part of our community and our state, but many of our immigrant community members are living in constant fear of having their families torn apart and find themselves unable to turn to law enforcement to keep them safe. ICE and local law enforcement are making agreements, oftentimes behind closed doors, without transparency, to help with deportations, separating families, and making undocumented victims and witnesses afraid to step forward and seek help from those who are responsible for protecting them. With the Truth Act, we will put an end to these practices and protect our immigrant communities. The Truth Act establishes a transparent process, including community engagement, prior to local law enforcement participating in ICE deportation programs. Local law enforcement must then reach an agreement with their city council or county supervisors, dictating the terms and conditions of any participation in such program and requiring compliance with the California Trust Act. In short, there's been a loophole in the Trust Act that has been used, and we need to close that loophole, bring back trust between law enforcement and our immigrant communities that was being built after the Trust Act passed, and passed the Truth Act. Quite a few supporters of this bill include Asian Americans Advancing Justice, National Day, Labor Organizing Network, the ACLU, MALDEF, and many others. California should promote trust between law enforcement and immigrant communities, and that's why it's important that today we pass the Truth Act. I respectfully ask for your aye vote, colleagues.
Thank you, Mr. Bonta. Mr. Jones Sawyer, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in strong support of this measure. We need to shine a light of truth on what's happening with ISIS's new deportation program. Government agencies should not operate in secret. ICE has a long track record of misleading the public about its efforts to entangle local law enforcement in carrying out mass deportations. The establishment of clear guidelines through proactive community engagement will not only help facilitate enhanced coordination between ICE and local law enforcement, but it will bring more transparency and accountability to immigration enforcement programs and guard against painful abuses. This is a time where California needs to lead the nation more than ever on this issue. I urge an aye vote on AB 2792.
Thank you, Ms. Jones Sawyer. Seeing no additional discussion or debate on this item, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote. You desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote or desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the vote. Ayes 42. Noes 26. Measure passes. Members, please no outbursts. There's no outbursts from the gallery or the floor. Members and audience joining us today. On the file item 22, pass and retain. File item 23, AB 2763. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2763 by Assemblymember Gatto and Act relating to transportation.
Mr. Gatto, you may open.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assembly Bill 2763 provides a definition of personal vehicle for partners of a transportation network company. The bill defines personal vehicle as any vehicle, whether it is owned, leased, rented, or otherwise authorized for use to provide pre-arranged transportation services. It thereby preserves an important option to earn additional income for thousands of teachers, classified employees, and other seasonal workers, and those who simply wish to augment their paychecks. This bill also preserves all existing inspection and safety requirements imposed by the PUC and maintains the ability for regulators to improve their safety requirements over time Respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing and hearing no debate, clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Aye 65, no 0, measure passes. Item number 24, AB 2455. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 2455 by Assemblymember David Chu and others, enaculating the voter registration.
Mr. Chu, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, this is a bill to expand voter registration options for college students in California. In the last general election, only 8% of our state's eligible 18 to 24-year-olds voted. With only half of young people registered compared to 70% of other ages, this meant that young people made up only 4% of those who were voting. This trend over time is even more troubling. Between 2010 and 2014, the actual number of young people who voted dropped by 50%. Registering to vote isn't easy when you're young. Voting is new for young adults who are busy juggling a lot of new things. They're often moving with less geographic stability. Voter pamphlets are often sent to their previous addresses, lost in the mail, which confuses young people on where they can vote and how they can change their voter registration. This bill will create an online link between college enrollment and voter registration, the first step toward the establishment of an automated voter registration system for public college and university systems where almost 3 million students could be registered. This bill is my district's winner of There Ought to Be a Law contest, which was proposed by 2 law students who wanted to see more of their peers involved in the voting process, Paul Monhay, who lives in my district, as well as Cindy Din, who lives in Mr. Bonta's district. On this day, the last day for voters to register for the June primary, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Bonta, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. I rise in support of AB 2455 as a proud co-author of this bill. As we all know, at the state and local level, we've seen abysmal rates of voter turnout. In the 2014 election in November, only 30% of California's eligible voters turned out to vote. Specifically, youth made up a meager 3.9% of those who voted, even though they constitute 14.5% of the eligible voting population. So this bill will really help increase youth voter turnout, and when you increase youth voter turnout, you have voters for life. It will also help empower our youth and ensure that their voices are heard. I respectfully ask for your aye vote, colleagues.
Seeing and hearing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll and tally the votes. Ayes 47, no 17. The measure passes. Pass and retain file item 25.